So often, our approach is to tell somebody what to do. We need to change them. So just for a moment, think to yourself to end this sentence. If I've told you once, I've told you, and I get responses, 100, 1,000 times. If telling worked, you would not have to repeat yourself, and people would do exactly what you tell them to do. But there's an inference when you tell somebody something, and that inference is, what you're doing is not good enough, and you need to change. Nobody likes to hear that. Well, we're teachers, so of course we're going to share information, but I'm very careful how it comes out. If the person is going to perceive as if I'm telling him something to do, or if I'm sharing something with him, to prompt the person to reflect. Because the idea is, well, here, let me ask you. Think of one person in your life. It could be a student, it can be a significant other, spouse, it can be a parent. When you think of one person, just nod your head. All right, now, here's a question for you to respond to. Have you ever changed that person? Not controlled the person, but have you ever changed the person? And you will soon come to the conclusion that you can control somebody, but you cannot change anyone. People change themselves. And when you realize that, the inevitable question is, well, what's the most effective approach to have the person do what I would like them to do? And the answer will never be through coercion. And that's what most people use. Telling is interpreted as being coercive. Since repetition is essential for learning, let's quickly review where we have been, where we are now, and where we're going. We started by learning how important teaching procedures is for successful classroom management, rather than relying on rules. We also learned that when we rely on rules, we place ourselves in the role of a policeman, a cop, who enforces rules, rather than a leader of learning. As former President Dwight Eisenhower so aptly stated, leadership is the art of getting other people to do something you want done because they want to do it. Teaching procedures shows students how to do what you would like them to do. We next move to the second phase of discipline without stress. 3 principles to practice were introduced with the emphasis so far of positivity and choice. We emphasize the importance of communicating in positive terms, especially with what you want, rather than telling your students what you don't want. Now, a few additional ideas were discussed about the empowerment of choice. Giving people choice eliminates coercion. This program is totally non-coercive. It's not permissive, it's just non-coercive. Now, understanding this is especially important with young people who are considered passive-aggressive or oppositional defiant. Choice response thinking was introduced, and the importance of realizing that one never need to think of oneself as being a victim, because the choice of a response is always available. Now, the principle of reflection, the third principle to practice, was lightly introduced before returning to the concept of the empowerment of choice, by acting reflectively rather than reflexively. We suggested that sharing information is more effective than a usual approach of telling. We will next learn more about the skill of reflection. But before we go, or before we do, let's do a little practice, a little reflection on our own that you can implement immediately.